Good morning, YouTube. I'm still at Calvary Cemetery. This is section 22, the soldier section, right across from where I did section 25 at St. Francis and St. Henry Drive, the soldier section of the cemetery. A little bit of information about the John Deese cannon. Of course, this ain't the only place where there's going to be soldiers throughout, but it's great they dedicated this section. Patrick Riley. In section 21, I believe this is on the Calvary Earthworks, section 2. Lawrence Haynes, Edwin T. O'Hara, Carl Heiser, Michael A. Canty, William T. Schmidt, Lawrence J. Reeser, Clifford Frank Weiss, Frank Casella, Italian last name, John E. Ella, Robert P. Frank, Earl Philip Long, Oscar Bollheimer, another German last name, Donald Foley, Joe Cazal. Some of these last names, it just can't hardly pronounce these. Michael R. DePino, so another Italian last name. You have Italians here and there scattered throughout, but largely a lot of German and Irish. Hugo R. Stein, Josephine D. O'Rourke, John A. Neal, James G. McDermott, Isidore Bernard Stukenborg, Peter Quinn, John Steinvon, John Puckley, it's the flag overlooking this section. Get a view from it from up top. I've got more of this to show yet, so John H. Holland, C. McDennis, and I believe this is the Earthworks section, if I'm not mistaken. Oral M. Dorston, Beautiful overlooking the section. I filmed that section up at the front. Not all of it, but part of it. David L. Altick, Joseph M. Walsh, Vincent J. Nelson, William C. Keene, Mary May Dowd, Jack Ray Presley, Henry Tagaman, Albert James R. Ball, Danny L. Allen, Howard R. Weaver, Henry D. Stork, Richard A. Krim, Rodney Edward Potts, Philip John Becker, Charles R. Rootslow, Francis Leah Whitman, David Lee Dawson, John P. Stevens, Neil Scott, possibly, James H. Froshy, Raymond Beck, Robert T. Gottslaw, erected by Earnshaw Camp Sons and Veterans of Patriotic Friends, 1913. One flag, one land, one heart, one nation evermore. Lawrence A. Grazier. Interwoven is the love of liberty with every ligament of the heart. You don't hear that term ligament used very often in a cemetery term, but Charles W. Brannon, Thomas A. Fleming, Laverne S.B., James Markets. I'll come back to that section in a second here, down there. George P. McCooey, Robert John Coyle, Iowa, Virgil R. Kelly, James G. Fleming, Louis H. Glazer, Walter G. Glazer, Kenneth R. Scuff, or however that's pronounced, Woodrow W. Miller, Walter E. Prestel, Marshall Johnson, Walter N. Yackley. And one thing you notice through here, you don't see families buried throughout. I do not think I've seen one family buried in the veterans section right here, which is probably common for most cemeteries. Joseph John Strubczewski, Polish name. Might have had an old North Dayton connection, because that's the prominent Polish neighborhood in the city of Dayton, or at least it was Old North Dayton. I did videos of that on my channel before, though, although it's not many remnants left of the Polish part of the neighborhood, except for the churches, really. But Ralph Dunn, John Blatz, Dillard Earl Brewster, Leon Willard, Howard R. Ryan, Clarence Edward Zimmer, Cosmo D. Alberto, Frank G. Spirk, Francis Robert Coleman, Robert B. Root. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it. Melvin Joseph Cotman, Lewis P. Kennedy, James G. Stewart, John Hadjaduk, William D. Shawman, Lawrence H. Even though I used to study French, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, even though I know it's a French last name. I used to study French years ago. I actually knew some of it, but I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the last name in French that I don't know. So it looks like they still got room on this part of the Veterans Cemetery right here. But I'm going to get ready to end this one and then cover section 21, which is only going to be a short video. That's it for this.